اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. خل المقادير تمضي لا تغالبها، فإن من غالب الأقدار مغلوب. إن القضاء لسيف لا يقاومه شيء من الخلق إلا وهو محبوب. وامشي رويدا مع الأقدار في مهل، فإن من يكره الأقدار متعوب. سلم وفوض لحكم الله محتسبا، فإنما الأمر مقضي ومكتوب. والله يقضي بما شاء وكيف يشاء، والعبد عبد ومخلوق ومربوب. ولم يزل ربه الرحمن يكلأه، باللطف والحفظ محفوف ومصحوب. حسن ظنونك بالرب الكريم، ولا تسيء ظنا فتبقى عنه محجوب. واعمل لنفسك أعمالا تسر بها، فكل ما يفعل الإنسان محسوب. إن كان خيرا فخير سوف يحصده، أو كان شرا فتنكيل وتعذيب. يا ويل من ضيع الأعمار في زلل، وكل من كسبه الآثام والحوب. واطلب علوما مع إقبال مع عمل، فأنت بالعلم والأعمال مطلوب. واحذر زمانك هذا إنه زمن، به المناكير شاعت والمعايب. فكن وحيدا فريدا خاملا حذرا، فإن فيه الأقاويل الأكاذيب. والظلم فاش بلا لوم ولا نكر، وللمساكين تخويف وترهيب. فكن لبيتك حلسا لا تفارقه، إلا لشيء له في الشرع تصويب. واذكر إلهك ذكرا دائما أبدا، فالذكر بالذكر مقرون ومصحوب. فإن نسيانه يا صاحبي حوب. وكن أخي بحبل الله معتصما، فكل حبل سواه فهو مقطوب. واسلك على سنة الهادي تفوز، وفي أولاك ترضى وفي أخراك محبوب. ففي اتباع النبي الخير أجمع، عليه منا صلاة ربي يادوب. تغشاه والآل والأصحاب أجمعهم، ومن لمذهبهم في الخير.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are continuing in our lessons in the Kitab Nur Idah by Al-Imam Hassan Shugun Bulali, the Fiqh of Al-Imam Abu Hanifa. And we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us with the understanding and tawfiq, that we are able to put into practice what we have learned. And in our last lesson, we were in the chapter pertaining to ablution, al-wudu. So we mentioned a few things on the integrals of ablution, the 4 integrals. That's what is mentioned by the author. So we have completed mentioning about this, and then also we spoke about shurutu wujubil wudu, the conditions on the obligation of al-wudu. The author mentioned a few things. Number 1, he mentioned al-aql, al-bulugh, wal-islam, qudratul isti'mal al-ma' al-kafi. Number 1, he mentioned the intellect, and then we have puberty, Islam, meaning a person must be Muslim in order for the wudu to become, there's obligation upon him, and the ability to use any water, otherwise he can use tayammum. And then he mentioned wa wujudul hadath. I think I have to explain this again. When in this wudu it becomes obligatory, when there is an impurity, a ritual impurity, al hadath. But if a person has wudu, then wudu is not compulsory upon him. Now this is what he meant wa wujudul hadath. In order for wudu to become obligatory, there must be hadath. If there is no hadath, meaning a person in state of wudu, then there is no obligation. Wa adamul hayd wa nifas, not in the state of hayd and nifas, because if women who are in menses, postnatal bleeding, then it is not permissible for them to take ablution. Wadiqul waqt, this is in pertaining to if a person has not prayed and the time is limited, then it is compulsory upon him to take wudu and to perform the prayers, because that is not permissible for him to prolong any longer. So we spoke about this, and then we also mentioned about sihhatul wudu. Sihhatul wudu, the author mentioned these are the conditions on the validity of wudu. So number 1, he mentioned umum al-bashara, we have to make sure that water reaches all parts of the body with water that is pure and can purify a tahur. Number 2, inqita' ma yunafi min haydin wa nifas, a woman should not be in a state of menses or postnatal bleeding. And then a person should not be in a state of hadath, meaning when he performs the ablution and his ablution, he does something that invalidates any ablution, then it is compulsory upon him to take any ablution from the beginning again. So this is what he meant when he say hadathin. And then number 3, was zawalu ma yamna'u wusul al-ma ila al-jasad. This also we mentioned, and the author gave the example of wax. If there is something that is on our body parts that prevents any water from reaching, then it is not valid. So now we go on to the next chapter. The author mentioned faslun fi tamami ahkamil wudu. So this is going to be our lesson today, inshallah ta'ala. So this particular chapter is the completion on the rulings of ablution. These are some rulings that we have to take note, which is compulsory upon us to make sure that our ablution is valid. Number 1, he mentioned yajibu raslu dhahiril lihyatil kathati fi asahi ma yufta bihi. It is compulsory for us to wash our beards that are thick. So here the author mentioned if a person has a thick beard, it is compulsory upon him to wash the beard. What is zahir? Zahir meaning the outer part of the beard, and it is not compulsory upon him to make any water reach to the skin, because this is a thick beard. Tamam. But if it is a khafifa, that's what he mentioned. Number 2, wayajibu isalul ma ila basharati lihyatil khafifa. If a person has a beard here, tamam, and this is part of your face, that's what he mentioned. So now it is compulsory upon him to make sure that water reaches the skin, because this is a thin beard. We can see the skin, and if you stand in front of him when you're speaking to him, you can see the color of the skin. So this is khafifa. Lihya al-khafifa. Just like in our mother al-Imam Shafi also, we make any this differentiation between lihya kathifa and khafifa. So if it is kathifa, yani thick, it is not wajib and to make the water and it reaches the skin. What is wajib and is to make water reaches in the outer part of the beard. But if it is a thick, it's a thin and beard, then it is compulsory to make sure water reaches the skin underneath. Tamam. Number 3, wala yajibu isalul ma'u ila al-mustarsal min ash-sha'ri an da'iratil wajh. So now he says that it is not compulsory to make sure that water reaches the hairs that is out of the boundaries of the face. And imagine if a person has a thick beard to his chest. Is it compulsory that he washes all the hairs? No, because this is beyond the boundary of the face. So what is compulsory is the hairs that is on the boundaries of the face, not beyond the boundary of the face. So this is not any compulsory. طيب. Number 2, he mentioned wala ilama in katama min ash-shafataini in indal indimam. So when we wash our face, now if I do this, this is called in man katama min ash-shafatain. I do this. My mouth, and if I put naturally like this, what is apparent, this is compulsory for me to wash. This is any compulsory for me to wash. So it is not compulsory for me to wash inside my mouth. Inside meaning if I do this, the parts in it that cannot be seen, that is inside. That is inside. What is wajib and what is seen outside. Okay, so this is part of the face. So our lips here, part of our lips here, this is part of our face. So it is compulsory for us to wash. Now, how do we know which part is compulsory, which is not compulsory to wash? When you keep your mouth shut and naturally like this, then you can know which is the part for you to wash. Number 4, walau in dammatil asabi'. Then he mentioned about fingers. It is compulsory to make sure that water reaches what in between the fingers. In between the fingers. It is compulsory to make sure that water reaches in between the fingers. If the fingers are made and this is in dimam, water cannot reach. So it is compulsory to open up so that any water can reach, because this is part of the hands. Aw tala dhufru faratal ammulah. Now he speaks about these nails. If a person has nails very long, to such an extent it closes any part of the finger, the upper finger. Now this is compulsory to make sure that water reaches underneath, because the fault is his fault. Why is he keeping along finger when he knows that he or she must take ablution? So we find some people follow the trend of the non-Muslims. They keep long fingernails, especially any woman. So this is not encouraged in Islam. What is sunnah is to cut our fingernails every week, not to make our fingernails long. There will be a problem when it comes to wudu. If some parts of the finger water cannot reach, then it is not permissible. It is compulsory to make sure that water reaches. أو كان فيه ما يمنع الماء كعجين وجب غسل ما تحته. So he gave an example of ajin. Ajin is when a person, for example, is making bread. So he makes the flour with water, and he rubs the flour with his hand. So usually what will happen is that under the fingernails part of the starch is attached to the fingernails. So it is compulsory upon a person to remove the starch, because this will prevent any water from reaching under the fingernails. So basically the author is saying it is compulsory to make sure that under the fingernails is washed. Now, number 5, wala yamna'ud daran. But there are certain exceptional cases. Now he mentioned daran. Daran can be understood as something that becomes part of the finger. A growth. Something that growth it becomes the skin. So when it becomes any the skin, what you call it? It is any forgiven. Yani the wudu yani is what you call it? Considered any to be valid. Wa khurul bararis wa nahwiha, and the feces any of the bararis, this is considered any to be very little, it is forgiven. Yani if it is found any underneath any the what you call it, if it is found any at the skin, so this is any considered any to be something any that is any forgiven. Number 6, wayajibu tahriqul khatam ad-dayiq. Yani if a person is wearing any ring, then it's compulsory upon him any to do tahriq. Tahriq any meaning that he is that he moves any the finger so that any the water reaches any all parts any of the finger. This is pertaining any to a ring any that is dayiq. Dayiq any is like La ilaha illallah. Yani not loose, it is it's tight. Afwan, tight khatam. Any tight any ring. So if it is tight, any water cannot reach any underneath, then it is compulsory any that we move the finger away so that any water can reach. Number 7, walau darahu ghaslu shuquki rijlaihi jaza imrarul ma ala dawa'i alladhi wada'ahu fiha. If a person yani has shuquq, any shuquq yani is you know this when the skin any breaks up, especially any in winter in some countries, at the back any of the feet any it breaks up. This is called shuquq rijl. So there will be hollows in between in the skin. If a person any is experiencing sickness any in this regard and putting medicine at the place of shuquq, so now there is a concession. If it is very difficult any to make sure that water reaches in between the shuquq due to the presence any of medicine, then the medicine takes any the ruling any of jabira. The medicine any takes any the ruling any of bandage, meaning what is compulsory any upon us any is to make sure that water reaches the medicine, or reaches any the part any of the medicine any that is in the shuquq. And this is any again any this is exceptional case and it's forgiven. ولا يعاد المسح ولا الغسل على موضع الشعر بعد حلقه ولا غسل بقص ظفره وشاربه. So if a person any has wiped any his head or washed any his face any for example, and then after that he cuts his hair, a person any wipes any his head and then he cuts any the hair, the part any that he wipes. Is the wiping valid? Yes, the wiping is valid, because here what is compulsory is wiping of the head, not wiping of the hair. So even if the hair any is cut off, the wiping any is valid. Walal ghasl biqas zufrihi wa sharibihi. A person for example wash any his face and then after that he trims any the mustache. So earlier any he washes the mustache, but now any he trims it away. Is the wudu valid? Yes, the wudu is valid because he has done the washing. Likewise, any when comes any to the fingernails, to the fingernails. After any he wash any his hand, he cut any his fingernails. Is the wudu any valid? Yes, wudu is valid because he has done the washing beforehand. Wallahu alam ani bisawab. Inshallah, in our next lesson we will speak any about the sunnahs any in wudu. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi. Alhamdulillah.